You think the dragon is the main character? No. When I look at the bodysuit, I look at the flower first. Just flower changed and the whole story flipped. Konnichiwa, Yoshi desu. So every guy that sits in my chair wanting Japanese flower, it's sakura. Every single time. Sakura are beautiful. There's a reason they are popular. But the problem is most people think that's the only option. It's not even close. So the other day, I went to this conveyor belt sushi spot here in Austin, right? And I'm looking at white fish options. It's just yellowfin. That's it, one option. Now yellowfin is not bad, but if that's your only white fish, that's a yellowfish restaurant. That's what it's like when someone only knows Sakura in Irezumi. You're ordering off a menu you haven't even read. Now, here's the funny things. Some guys go the complete opposite direction. They come in and say, no flour, make it more manly. And that's fine, you can do that. You fill the background with the iwagaku, which is rock, namigaku, which is waves. Rock goes dark, wave goes light. You get it heavy, solid contrast. It works, but here is what I think. In Irezumi, flowers aren't just decoration. They can be main characters. They can be supporting cast. Either way, when you take them out, you can feel something's missing. It's not that it's less pretty. It's that the story gets thinner. And that's what I want to break down today. In American tattoo culture, you get something inked because you want it to last forever, right? In Irezumi, they ink flowers for the exact opposite reason, because they don't last. And this is part that really got me when I learned about it. There's this concept in Japanese aesthetics called mono no aware. Sound complicated, right? But it's actually super simple. Beautiful things are beautiful because they don't last. If a flower never died, it wouldn't be beautiful. It's beautiful because it goes away. And you can't talk about this without talking about samurai. Think about it. A guy who could literally die in battlefield tomorrow. And he picks the fastest dying flower as his symbol. Sakura bloom, and they're gone in 3 days. A strong wind, 1 day. Samurai looked at that and said, that's me. Not a long life, just one perfect bloom. And the philosophy goes straight into Irezumi. Western tattoo say, this is mine forever. Irezumi flowers say, this is about right now. Same skin, same ink, completely different philosophy. So flowers in Irezumi aren't decoration. What they really saying is, when does this story take place? Spring means Sakura, summer means Botan, fall means Kiku, and winter, we'll get to that. But the meaning behind the flower, that's just the beginning. The crazy part is each of those flowers, its own personality and its own rules. There are rules in Irezumi. You don't just draw any flower anywhere. Which flower goes with which subject, which season it belongs to, get wrong, and to anyone who knows, it looks like a sentence with the word all mixed up. I'm gonna tell you how each one feels from actually working with them for 16 years. Botan, peony, this is my favorite flower. We call it the cabbages. Look at it and you will see why, but we're joking when we say that. In reality, this is the king of all flowers. In Japanese, it's called Hyakka no O, the king of the 100 flowers. Botan represents wealth, honor, and bravery. And Irezumi, the classic pairing with the Karajishi Botan. That's the lion dog with the peony. You know Karajishi? Those two together are basically a set meal. You get one, you get the other. Why I personally love Botan? The curves, petal after petal stacking up, creating these flower curves that fit anywhere. Arm, back, chest, doesn't matter. It just works in any space. That's why it's incredibly as a supporting flower next to the main subject. But it's also strong enough to be the star on its own. Sakura. number one in popularity. I will give it that. And there's a reason. We already talked about the whole impermanence thing. But visually, when those small petals scatter in the wind, it creates movement. On the bodysuit, when cherry blossom is drifting, it literally looks like wind is blowing across someone's skin. The effect is powerful. But there's the thing, Sakura are usually not the main character. They are the background, drifting above a warrior, wrapping around the scene. Sakura sets the mood. It doesn't hold the center. Kiku, chrysanthemum. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. This is the flower that every Irezumi artist loves and hates at the same time. In the shop, we call this one the banana. Why banana? Don't ask, just look it. Here's why it's butter. Every single petal is a layer. 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers. It just keeps going. You have to follow each one and build steps, and the work time gets insane. Once you hand start shaking, it's over. But the meaning, longevity, and the imperial family. The Japanese imperial crest is a chrysanthemum, 16 petals. So Kiku is one of the highest ranking flower in all of Irezumi, worth every penny per hour. The love-hate relationship between Irezumi artists and chrysanthemum. That's whole story on its own. I break down separately. Has the lotus, a flower that grown out of mud. And that's the whole point. The lotus isn't just a pretty flower in dirty water. It's about the pushing through hardship and suffering and bloom into the something brilliant on the other side. Like a crystal that only forms under pressure. The deeper the mud, the bigger the bloom. That's why Irezumi, the lotus pair with the Fudo and Buddhist subject. It's enlightenment after suffering, beauty after pain. You'd be surprised how many people love it once I show them. In a sea of cherry blossoms, when I put up a lotus, there I go wide. I didn't even know that was an option. And once they hear the meaning, they're sold. Alright, now here's one rule you gotta remember above everything else. These flowers don't just go anywhere. You have matched the season. Botan is early summer. Sakura is spring. Kiku is fall. If you put Sakura and chrysanthemum on the same bodysuit, that's spring and fall exist on your body. If that's intentional, it's cool. I did together because I didn't know that. Kiku here, lotus here, cherry blossom here. But if you want to get a real Irezumi, you have to care about the season. Now, things like which direction the petals are falling, how the wind flows through the piece, that comes down to the artist. Same rules, but depending on who composing it, it'll either look natural or it won't. So find someone who understands season and knows how to make the whole things flow. That's skills. And this is really core of everything we've been talking about. Dragon, tiger, warriors, those are nouns, the subject. But flowers are everything else. The season, the mood, the context. Same dragon, but cherry blossom drifting around it, that's spring. A beginning, maybe a peak of a short life. But with Kiku, for maturity, something that survived a long time. Just flower change and the whole story flipped. But Botan next to it, now it's a king. The king of the flower, meaning the king of the beast. Pure power and glory. To the lotus, now that dragon clawed through mud to get here. It's not just strong, it's a dragon that overcame something. Same dragon, for completely different story, just by changing the flower. When I'm designing a piece, I pick a main subject first, and then I pick the flower. But honestly, the moment I choose the flower is the moment the real story gets decided. Lots of people come in wanting a dragon, but what goes next to that dragon? That's where it became your story. That's why I always talk about my client about flower. You picked the dragon, great. Now here's the real decision. One of them are surprised. The flower better than match? Yeah, the flower is what completes your tattoo story. If you only know cherry blossom and you pick from there, that's the same as that sushi spot, ordering off a menu with one option. But once you know Bhutan, Kiku, Hasu, Ajisai, once you understand what each one brings to the table, now you are choosing for real. Next time, don't look at the dragon first. Look at the flowers. What flower is it? What season is it? You know what else is out there? The cabbage, the banana. I'm gonna dip on each of these flowers one by one. If you're curious, hang around the channel. Hit like and subscribe. お疲れ様でした。